Arias, she's going to return to the stand in Phoenix courtroom on Monday, but this week she testified about her relationship with the victim Travis Alexander, and she looked directly at the jurors until the testimony turned to their sexual encounters. It got really graphic in that courtroom. So we brought in body language expert Patti Wood. She wrote the book Snap, Making the Most of First Impressions, Body Language, and Charisma. And Patti, always great to see you. Now, let's first take a look at her describing the day of her baptism into the Mormon faith. And folks, I just want to warn you, some of this language that she uses in this testimony is quite graphic.
I was in my church clothes. He was in his church clothes. The kissing got more passionate, more intense, and then he spun me around. And he bent me over the bed. He began to have anal sex with me. And
is this something that you wanted to happen?
Well, I can't say I wanted to, but I didn't stop him.
Now, Patti, let me say this. This is a self-defense case, so what her belief of what happened on the day that Travis died is key in this. That means her credibility is key.
Yes.
What do you make of her there? Do you feel like she's telling the truth?
Well, it's striking. If this is the only piece of tape you saw, it's so dramatic. She has the halting speech. Her body language changes dramatically. Her shoulders are shrunken down. Her head is bowed. However, a few seconds before this, a few seconds after this, she's back. Very quick, clipped speech, high energy.
Right.
So it, to me, it's clear she goes into acting mode. But also, there is truth in here. The gestures are going along with what she's saying. So she's acting, overacting, but there's a truth line underneath.
So there's some truth in there. We can't necessarily tell if it's the whole thing or part of it. And, you know, there's another part of her testimony that a lot of people were talking about where she describes pictures of Travis's genitalia. And again, I just want to warn our viewers out there, this can be a little bit graphic. So if you have kids in the room, just maybe cover their ears or usher them out. Here it is.
Be so kind as to take a look at those. Do you recognize those?
Yes.
What are those pictures of?
Those are pictures of Travis's erection.
And when did you, or how did you come into possession of these photos?
They were sent to me
How?
via his phone.
Her voice is quiet.
Yes.
She's embarrassed, it seems. What do you make of it?
And she actually has the sour mouth, and the timing is distinctive. That does indicate that she's telling the truth there. She does feel distaste. She does swallow. But again, she goes in and out of this so dramatically. A few seconds before, a few seconds after, that make it clear to me that she goes into acting.
So the jury has to trust her. Would you say that she's a hard person to trust?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's going to be key for her credibility, folks. And you know what? There's one other thing. Everybody is talking about her memory. She seems to have the memory of a steel trap. Take a look.
But we were sitting outside in the shade. It was a little hot, but it was still somewhat, it was cooler in the shade. He was drinking chai tea. I was drinking a latte, an iced latte. Their Thanksgiving, I think, was on the 22nd that year. Well, the 26th would have been on a Sunday, so whatever, the previous Thursday would. And at one point they were getting in line for the zipper. I didn't want to get on the zipper. There was only 2 per cage anyway. That was early September 1997.
Now, I meant to say she has a steel trap memory, but you know, what do you make? Does this sound like somebody who is really remembering every detail, or is she kind of explaining the story more and more, like some say a pathological liar would
That's
do?
very insightful. I call it dazzling with the details.
Okay.
So she really enjoys giving you all these details, all these little aspects of her life. But she's saying, look over here, all these details. Look over here at all these details, hiding what's really going on. So she perks up. She's enjoying this. It's clear that she's done this all of her life, dazzled with the details, hiding something deep underneath.
So do you think, for example, she actually had that latte, or Thanksgiving actually did fall on the 22nd 5 or so years ago.
Again, yes.
Okay.
And though she does give a lot of qualifying statements, I believe, so she leaves herself open, so when goes to cross-examination, she has a few outs there, but she's loving talking with all those details.
Wow, and so her credibility being the biggest thing in this case, it's going to be tough for the jury to figure out what's true and what's not.
And absolutely, if she had just had that testimony of all the sexual interactions and had that downcast body language and demeanor, we would have had such sympathy.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Patti. We appreciate it. And folks, just want to remind you,